Vasquez, Basement Politics, Freddie Vasquez, coming on live. Gonna redo this show over. The master plan. Is there a master plan to remove the poor folks from the Southwest and Northwest Yonkers? Join me. Good evening, I'm Freddie Vasquez. This is Basement Politics on Unfiltered. Tonight, master plan. Is there a plan to remove the poor from the Southwest side and the Northwest side of Yonkers? Hello. Yonkers, how you doing? I'm Freddie Vasquez. I came on earlier, actually, and I did a live, but the mute button was on, and so I was muted for about 11 or so minutes, so I deleted that podcast. I wanted to do it over. It's important that I get it right. So if you watched it before and you heard most of it, master plan. It's the same thing. I want to talk about the master plan. Is there a master plan to remove the poor folks from Southwest and Northwest side of Yonkers along the waterfront and to replace them with a lot more affluent individuals? And also to reduce the overall population here in the city of Yonkers of those who are living at or below the poverty line? Is there a massive plan that has been set in motion? A plan to transfer Yonkers from the suburban-like city just north of NYC into a booming affluent hub for high-income earners working both in the finance district and, of course, the film industry? This is a question I have been pondering for a couple of weeks now. Right? And recently someone has given me some more information, and that information set light bulbs off in my head. You know, the kind of light bulbs you don't need permits to apply for in order to install. I've also have been putting much thought into what I believe is a lack of true concern and, putting an importance on our schools and the educational system for so many years. And even now, not just with the quality of school, the education, and the programming, but also with the quality of the buildings. Very recently, Shanae Williams, and I'm going to keep saying this, said that the buildings, the roofs were falling down, literally, right? So why haven't the schools' needs been met in the same manner that the apparent need for luxury buildings has been met, right? And gentrification. Then I realized it was quite simple. Honestly, I started thinking about it, and then I said, they're building a luxury apartments at such high volumes. There are a lot going up so quickly. And I don't get it, because there is an affordable housing crisis here in the city, in Westchester, and in the country. And in the county's report, they said that 50% of the people were living in a situation, apartment or home or whatever, that they could not actually afford. And any financial hardship could leave them homeless. So if that's the case, and the average person in the city of Yonkers only earns $35,000 a year, then why are they building so many luxury apartments? Apartments that the average person, according to statistics that the mayor himself said, cannot afford to live in or even, qualify for or meet the income requirement. And then I started to think about the schools and the lack of attention that they're getting, and also the fact that 75% of the student body are living at or below the poverty line. And so then I started to think about that. And I said, the poor folks, the low income, affordable housing folks are not getting any attention on the residential end. And then the students who are living at or below the poverty line are being provided with a quality of education that's not so great. So is there a real concern for certain individuals or for people in the city, the average person? Or are these people just saying, we don't care about you folks anymore? We don't care about the average person in Yonkers that makes $35,000 or low income, affordable housing, even those living at or below the poverty line. We're going to start to build luxury market rate apartments. This is prime real estate along the water, and you got to go. Either you're going to get with it, you could adapt somehow. If not, see you later. And why care about the schools when we're building luxury apartments anyway, studio 1 and 2 bedrooms, which are not going to bring many families, but more, affluent, higher income earners. And that's eventually going to price out a majority of the people living at or below the poverty line from that area, maybe even out of the city of Yonkers, because they're not really going to be able to go east and buy homes. Therefore, that's going to ultimately, in my eyes, reduce the population of the student body who are living at or below the poverty line, ultimately shrinking maybe the overall population. I don't mean in a year or two, but maybe over time. And so they won't need, as many schools, because I believe they're going to sell off school properties. And like I said before, they already have School 19 on Jackson Street. You go there, it's a construction site, supposed to be some kind of residential. School 13 on McLean, not too far from where they're building the new school, was turned into residential. The school on Ashburton, right, and others on Waverly that turned it into a senior place. So why not keep those schools if there is a need, or they, thought the possibility of it being a need because of these developments that were going to be coming in, because they knew they were going to be luxury and it was going to be studios, 1 bedrooms, 2 bedrooms, not families, right? So they're pushing people out, and they're doing things to push certain demographic out by building a lot of luxury apartments, by building or bringing in businesses that are not going to be really affordable to the average person, right? How many people are going to be going to Starbucks? That's what they bringing in. Whole Foods. I've been talking about that, and I hear that may replace the ShopRite over there on Riverdale Prospect, the one that's going to be behind that big 25-story luxury apartment building that they're going to be building that was approved in a strange way. And I'm going to talk about that. And that's why I think there's a master plan. There's a master plan. And so who's behind the master plan? Right? I believe the wizard behind the master plan is a woman by the name of Wilson Kimball. She is the head of CEO of Housing. That, is in charge of low-income housing for low-income individuals. And they haven't really built many new low-income buildings. What they've done recently is just renovated the ones they have there. And that's a problem. And I'm going to tell you why, right? Anyway, most low-income developments were redone. So in a way, this had a negative impact and allowed for the removal of people here, right? Because they had to redo them. Like with Cottage Gardens, they had to knock them down. So they had to move people out. I told people you got to move. So they got people out. And then after they did them all nice, they got to be selective over the people who they brought in, right? I know of several people who had their vouchers taken away recently. And was that purposely done so they can be more selective of the people who they give vouchers to in the low income, the housing that they have. So, they can, have a certain, I guess, maybe feel like, okay, these people are not going to cause as much trouble based on their history or something like that. And so we're filtering certain people for the small amount of, housing that we are going to provide for them, because it's mostly going to be luxury apartment. So is there a plan to put in place to systematically reduce the number of people who qualify for low income and affordable housing while filtering through those who get to stay, while filtering out, filtering through, people get to stay? You get to stay, you don't get to stay. So we're going to build them over. So you have to move. And then we're going to, give these vouchers back out. Right. But some people are losing their vouchers. Right. And some people are already waiting, and they're saying, well, what about me? I was already on the waiting list. Well, they're reshuffling the deck. Interestingly enough, like I said, the woman who heads municipal housing is Wilson Kimball, but she's also been very busy assuring the luxury developments are going up. She's been at a lot of the groundbreakings. Right. And you see her there with the, developers who are doing market luxury apartments, but you are in charge of housing. You should be focusing on that. Wilson Kimball is someone we don't often hear about, unless maybe on my podcast, but has her hands in everything. Is she the wizard behind the curtain? Let's first start with her influence on the Yonkers City Council. And this is important. I want to connect the dots, right? This is the master plan. Her influence, how much influence does she have on the majority leader, Tasha Diaz, and her vote right, to override the mayor's veto for affordable housing. She says she was in support of increasing the housing ordinance to 20%. That would have made it for a more affordable housing in the luxury apartments and increased the housing stock. But she flip-flopped at the last hour. She flip-flopped. And who did that benefit? The developers. What happened after that? She was named majority leader, right? And they'll say maybe that was a mistake. Kimball's also responsible for inputting Lakeisha Collins Bellamy into the city council presidency, a necessary move because Mike Cater was not as pro-developer. And Lakeisha Collins Bellamy, before she became city council president, worked, and it still does, worked at municipal housing, and Kimball is technically her boss. So Kimball got Lakeisha, a black female, and put her on the school board of trustees first, right? And that was done, they say, to build her, status up within Yonkers, politics or whatever, get her out there, get her known, give her some credibility. That was according to sources. Next, she then ran her campaign against Mike Cater using the Committee for a Better Yonkers, which was funded by a lot of developers. They took out Mike Cater. They took him out, with the nasty attacks. So she was successful in her victory. Successful in her campaign. And in her victory speech, the city council president thanked Kimball, calling her a mentor and someone who would play an important role, right, in her decisions or in her, the way she would, be as city council president, here in the city of Yonkers. So, that's a lot of influence, right? That's influence, so there you go. So next, the building department, that's the next step. They had to get rid of Vincent Pesci, right? So what did they do? Mike Breen made the proposal to reduce the requirements for the building department, and they did that. And so then they got rid of Vincent, and Sam Borelli got the job, because they don't need an engineer necessarily. They just need a manager. That's what they said. Then came, the next step was the ZBA. Equally, if not more important, was full control of the ZBA, which they recently did. Kimball, already a member of the Zoning Board of Appeals, began putting pressure to remove two individuals that were two of the three most seasoned. Recently, the chairman, Joe Chinchulli, he retired after 53 years. And I hear that from someone that I spoke to today, actually a relative of his, that he was kind of, pressured into that retirement. But they needed him out because Wilson is going to eventually become the chairperson. But before that, she got rid of the two individuals from the zoning board without even notifying them, by simply appointing new members. And that's when they got Gene Tickle and then Anthony Jalaj, the 21-year-old kid, appointed to the Zoning Board of Appeals. And it's crazy the way they just they didn't even tell him. They just went to a meeting. The city council got up there because, again, now she had full control of the council. And they went ahead and appointed these two without asking any questions. Why are we appointing these two new members? Why are they replacing two of the three senior most members? What's their experience? This kid's 20-some years old. Why would we have him replace two guys that have been there over 30 years? Because they wouldn't approve 44 Hudson, and they needed people to do that. That's what it was all about. So they got rid of them and put in the puppets. All right. And so the 44 Hudson Street was approved 4-3. Who were the three that said no? I would like to know that. Well, Hector Lopez, who's on the board, voted yes. But does he live in Yonkers? And if not, does his vote count? And if he doesn't live in Yonkers and instead lives in Verplank or, Middletown or Peekskill or Brewster or wherever, I'm seeing from my preliminary research that he may be living, then his vote doesn't count. And so 44 Hudson Street is not approved. It's not approved. So now with full control of the council, the zoning board, real estate board, also real estate committee, as well as the building department, nothing will stop the luxury real estate boom that will uproot many families currently living on the southwest and northwest side of Yonkers. And that's what they want. Those that require low income and affordable housing are not the primary concern. Therefore, neither are the schools. Just to go hand in hand, right? While the developers get pilots, the city says it cannot afford to renovate the schools, that, do all the renovations that are needed, or settle the contract with the Yonkers PBA, and Keith Olsen, right? They can't give them a fair contract according to what Keith Olsen's saying. But what happened to all the casino money? Again, where's the money? And I hear that instead of, Yonkers, instead of getting the $20 or $19 million that they were getting every year, they were actually initially going to get a percentage. And that would have been a lot more, because I hear Empire City was making hundreds of millions of dollars. So if they gave Yonkers a percentage, Yonkers would have got way more than just $19-20 million. But instead, something somehow was worked out in Empire City's favor, and they instead got a fixed amount. But should we maybe, say something about that in terms of the MGM grand that's coming in the hotel? Should we say, hey, we want a percentage to be here in the city of Yonkers? We don't want a fixed amount, right? We want to get, 10%, 20%. We want 20% of what you guys rake in every month. You know how much money that would be and what that would do for the city of Yonkers? Then maybe we wouldn't need the developers. Yeah, hey, why don't we just get MGM Graham in the hotel and that's it? Since Empire City is already here, screw the developers and make a lot of money. Let's do a partnership with MGM Graham. Say, hey, we're going to partner with you guys. We got a 20% stake in the business. So every month we're going to collect 20%, because I hear somebody saying, I don't know how true this is, they are making $100 million a month. That's a lot of money. That's a lot of money. So we can do a lot with that. But we don't have people that really truly fight for the residents of the city of Yonkers. For far too long, they have been advocating for, fighting for the developers, the wealthy, affluent developers, and the developments that they are bringing here to the city of Yonkers that will ultimately replace many people here in the city of all colors. And why should we care? Because this is our home. I love Yonkers, and I like to think that many of you, if not all of you, love Yonkers. And we should care when people are being uprooted out of their homes, priced out, having to move their families, go somewhere and hope that they find a place, and maybe not even find anything. And some may be homeless. We've seen the homeless population get worse and worse over time. And it seems like no one cares. And so at the very least, even if the people don't care, the elected officials should, because that's their job and that's their responsibility. That's what they've been elected to do. And it seems like they don't. They've been allowing individuals like a Wilson Kimball to operate here in the city of Yonkers, infiltrating all of our boards, our council, departments, in order to facilitate this master plan to bring this luxury real estate boom here to the city of Yonkers, along with Lionsgate and all these studios. These individuals don't live here in Yonkers. They're not from Yonkers. They don't care about Yonkers. What they do is strictly for financial gain. And if we don't speak up and say something about it these coming elections, then Yonkers will forever be taken away from the people, and it will become something that none of us will recognize. And eventually most of us will leave, and it will be completely new people. Maybe that's what they're hoping. But this is coming election, folks. This is like the Alamo. This is the last stand. If we don't stop it now, I don't know. So I need everyone to come out, and that's why I'm speaking about it. That's why I'm here on my podcast. That's why I, seek the information from folks. So I thank you for everyone who's been giving me information, all of my sources, because there's a lot, and it's not caters. It's a lot of people. It's a lot of credible people on the inside, people with true knowledge. And I'm hearing it. People like, man, that guy Freddie does know. And I may not always get it right. And I will correct myself. That ShopRite is one of the busiest in their company. Yeah, it's very busy. A lot of people utilize that, but they're building a luxury 25-story building right behind it. And those folks are going to need to go grocery shopping. So are they going to go to ShopRite? And there are going to be many other luxury apartments that are being built, aside from the ones that already have been built? Do they want to go to ShopRite? I mentioned this in my podcast, a guy that was walking by, a guy that obviously was not from Yonkers originally, right? Came from, Manhattan, Brooklyn, one of the yuppie guys looking. And he says, there's going to be a Whole Foods. That's music to my ears. So they want that, and they're going to give the people who are going to be living there now what they want. It's okay. The working poor can win a effing lotto to have a decent place to live. Yeah, they didn't even get a place. They didn't even get a voucher. That lottery was just for a place in line. So what they're doing is they're reshuffling, they're filtering people out. So it's a good idea. We could redo them and get rid of people and then be selective with the vouchers that we give back out. And how do they know who's really in the order? How they give a thing? Because it really is just a waiting list. But who's going to really remember? Did everybody know? You know what I'm saying? Like it's BS. They're like, again, they're going to dwindle that population down. Low income affordable is going to get dwindled down here in the city of Yonkers, right? So again, that's why the schools really right now don't matter, because most of the people at the, that go to the schools come from families that are in that population that they want to see, reduced, and pushed out of Yonkers ultimately. I mean, that's just what I'm saying, It's okay working. I said that. I'm sorry. I hate this development. Me too. 1000%. I grew up on Buena Vista, and and I get it. There were things that needed to be done. We did need to work on some things, right? But to see it happening for other people that are not from Yonkers, to see other people, taking away what was ours, the waterfront, the views, our peace. And because I didn't like the city, like because of the noise and the craziness, and I got the double parking, the traffic, it's ridiculous, and they're changing the landscape, they're changing the dynamics, the demographics, they're bringing in the Starbucks and all that crazy stuff. They're jacking up the cost of living for everybody, the cost of these homes. You got these big billion-dollar developers with money coming from out of the country, gobbling up all this real estate. It's not, it's not okay to me, and where are the people going to go? And ultimately, that's for sure going to leave some people homeless, guarantee. There's just going to be some people that are going to not be able to afford it. They had an apartment that was just right, just enough. They had just enough to pay for that place, and now they're getting kicked out. And where they're going to go? Because somewhere else is going to be more money now. Everyone's jacking up their prices, right? And so now they're like, now we're homeless. Now we're homeless. Good job, Freddie. Speak that truth. Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you, Louis. Thank you. And, that's all I'm trying to do. I just want people to know what's really happening, because not many people understand. And when they sell it to you guys, it's in a way that you think that you're going to be a part of it, right? For the most part. But most of you are not going to be a part of it. I'm sorry. And there's some people that want to be a part of it because they want to be, keeping up with the Joneses, right? But then you guys are going to be the ones that are going to be getting evicted, like the mass evictions that happened recently, right? And you need to, this is why money management, financial literacy is very important. This is why I'm going to be doing that this fall. So I hope to see some kids, and shout out to, not even going to say who, but I'm already getting a partnership, and I am going to be getting some kids. So I'm excited about that, because I just want to, give people an opportunity to, see what's coming, try to, make some changes and try to adapt. Maybe we can speak out against certain things. Maybe we can slow it down. Next year, a lot of important elections are coming up, specifically the mayor and District 1. And I say District 1 because that's where a lot of the developments are happening. So it's important that, everyone in the city, like, you can't just say, well, I live in District 4, so I don't care about District 1. No, you need to care about District 1, whether you're in 4, 5, or 6, because a lot of the changes that happen in District 1 are surely impacting the other districts. And ultimately, together, they make decisions that impact us all. And they've been making poor decisions. And some, bodies got to get in there, got to change some things, a few people actually. So again, you have 1, 3, and 5 districts coming up next year, as well as the mayor's seat. So we need to come out and vote, because certain people think they got it in the bag. And this belongs to us, the people. And we have the power. I'm Freddie Vasquez. Thank you, folks. I'm sorry about last time my mic was off, so I had to do it over. I just got to get it right? And I didn't want to have that muted part in there for like 11 minutes. I said, oh my God, 11 minutes of mute. There is zero planning for the people of Yonkers. This is a tremendous amount of planning to please developers and money deals that benefits the connected. Progress and upgrading is good, but So many promises have been broken. 1,000% construction, employment, and job opportunities for residents and unions. 1,000%. A lot of these guys are coming from out of the state, right? A lot of these companies are foreign entities. Did not happen. Increased revenue, tax-based, but the pilots equal savings to taxpayers did not happen, right? Because they can't reduce taxes or keep taxes where they're at if they are giving out all these pilots. They have to generate the income from somewhere, right? Yonkers taxpayers on the hook. Improvements to education and schools with reconstruction improvements. And we're also going to be on the hook for that Syracuse stuff, right? I believe. You know, we're leasing the place, 20-year lease. I don't understand why I didn't, you know, if I don't know, I just look at it like if I was in charge, like I look at it like a company, right? I would have taken that piece of land. I said, okay, Leak and Wass is out. We taking that land. I don't know why they sold off so much of the lands if we need schools, right? If we need affordable housing to be built. I would have got these developers to build schools for us. Build affordable. You build one development, you got to build an affordable housing building. Right. And so it just would have been so much more for the people if we don't have the money, like we say, right? Then we got to make them pay. You know, if they're going to take $80 to $100 million to build a school on McLean, they're making some money. They're making a lot of money. There's definitely a lot of profit margin there. But then again, maybe not. Right? Maybe not. You would think, but maybe not. But anyway, shout out to Styles P. I didn't play his video. Styles P addressed the city council at a meeting one time. And he said, you know, that these developments are going up, are very expensive. He's asking, what about the people of that area, specifically in the low developments that are going to be going up? You know, most of the people in that area cannot afford the developments that they want to put there. The GDC, he was saying, which are $4,400 to $4,700 a month for a 2-bedroom. So he's saying at least give the people of Yonkers jobs so they could afford to live there. But even then, the jobs are temporary. And do they pay enough still so the city residents could live there? I mean, $4,400, $2,700, $3,200 for these apartments. The average person in Yonkers makes $35,000 a year. Do you think they're thinking about the average person? Absolutely not. And the last person that they're going to remove, and I do need to mention this, in all the removal and replacing that's been going on, city council, right, zoning board, building department, and then also the school superintendent. I believe they want to remove them because ultimately I believe they are going to sell more schools, and they have sold schools in the past already, and they've become residential buildings. All right, look on McLean, not too far from where they're building the new school. That was once a school there, right? School 19 is now just a construction site. Been that way 7 years. We could have been using that as a school. So you decide how the city has been managed, and you must make a decision next year, but you have to make a decision. I'm Freddie Vasquez. Thank you for joining me, folks. Thank you for everyone who supports and watches. I appreciate it. And I'm going to be partnering up with Inside Yonkers. We're going to be doing a Thursday show together. It's going to be city. It's going to be called, let's say, City Talk. And we're going to discuss, you know, everything but politics. You know, basement politics, cover the politics. So on City Talk, we're going to be discussing community events, you know, school sports. I forgot what else we were discussing. A bunch of stuff, everything that's happening in Yonkers, but not politics, right? And so look out for that. That's going to be coming this fall. You know, collaboration between myself, Basement Politics, and Inside Yonkers. We're also going to be working to, you know, try and cover as much of the news as possible, day and night, live and stuff for you guys. So we're, you know, working on a lot of stuff. It's very important that the people are informed, and it's extremely important that in a city of 200,000 people, that more than 20,000 come out and vote. And all you new folks that moved into the city, especially those that bought houses recently, you guys better know what's going on, because if you bought a house, you pay taxes. If you got kids and you're going to put them in the schools here, you need to know what's up. So make sure you watch Basement Politics with Freddie Vasquez, because here you get it unbiased, untainted, and unfiltered. Thank you, folks. I'm Freddie Vasquez. Thank you. Next year, come out and vote. Register to vote if you're not. Next year is very important. next year is extremely important. I hope I see everyone out. I hope I see everyone participating. It's going to be a lot of stuff coming out soon. Get out and vote. Find the good candidates. Yeah, I think they're going to be out there. Oh, and I do want to mention again, John Limo, he wants me to make sure I put this out there. He's looking to help and support candidates, people that are willing to do the work, right? You have to go out there and knock on these doors and raise some money. He will match any amount that you raise in order to support. He will give you office space, computer usage, Wi-Fi, internet, help with strategies. He's serious about this. He understands how important this is, as well as certain other individuals here in the city of Yonkers. I'm telling you, next year it's going to be a big, big, big deal. You're going to see this. It's going to be incredible, but it's like almost like the David versus Goliath, That's what's going on here in the city of Yonkers. Excuse me, I had to burp. I'm sorry. David versus never mind. I'm Freddie Vasquez. Thank you, folks. David versus Goliath. There you go. Jeez, I couldn't get out. It was right. So make sure we come out. Vote. All right. I'm Freddie Vasquez. Join me next week. I'll be back on Tuesday. And also, this coming week, I do have John Cater coming on. So he'll also talk more about that. So if you're interested in running for any of the District 1, 2, 3, 5, I'm sorry, not 1, 2, 1, 3, 5, and mayor even, he's looking to help support, match any amount of money you raise, provide you with strategy, office space, computer usage, and all that good stuff. So reach out to him at jcater@impactnow.com. He will be on my show finally this coming week. So look out for that, and he'll be talking about it more in detail. I'm Freddie Vasquez. Have a good night. Got to get back. I'm tired. I can't even think. Take care. Wish I got it right the first time.
Freddie wins. Fatality.
You're watching Basement Politics with my dad, Freddie Vasquez. You're watching Basement Politics with my dad, Freddie Vasquez.
I was raised in housing. We're going to leave it where it is. Let's vote on, like I said, political games that are being played. But we're going to leave it where it is. Let's vote on this. Let's get it popping. I was raised in housing. I don't think you were.
What is that sweet spot?
But we're going to leave it where it is. Let's vote on this. Let's get it popping.
Thank you for watching Basement Politics with my husband, Freddie Vasquez.
Freddie wins. Fatality.
No!